Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sunny, aka the Oracle of Alexandria, and today I'm a little annoyed at YouTube. So I initially recorded this video probably a couple of weeks ago now, recorded, edited, and uploaded because I'm always a bit ahead due to the very slow upload times to YouTube. When I was checking to make sure all of the information for the video was correct and fully updated and so on, I found that only 25 seconds of the footage uploaded properly. So here we are, re-recording. I read the book and did this review originally a couple of weeks ago, so this one may not be as nuanced. But here we are, doing it again. You'll notice if you watch both my flip through of this deck and my actual reading review of this deck, that I have a different tarot cloth down and everything, the other side of this tarot cloth. So anyway, here we are to review the Tarot of Dragons. So this is a release by Llewellyn Publishing. If you're at all in the occult, spiritual, pagan communities, you've probably encountered Llewellyn. This deck is basically the dragon version of the Tarot of Mermaids. The art in the Tarot of Mermaids is gorgeous. The packaging is wonderful. The book leaves a lot to be desired. So, let's see. The deck itself, the book is written by Sean Mackenzie, and the amazing art is done by Firat Sohan. So, this deck is absolutely gorgeous. I am not really big on dragons. I like more feminine, unicorns, fairies, mermaids, stuff like that. Dragons don't really have the same sort of draw or appeal for me. This deck converted me. I fell in love with dragons because of the art in this deck. So, the packaging has this magnetic clasp here, as usual, and it is lushly illustrated all around the box. Let's take a look at the back of the box here. Take a divine flight through tarot with dragons at your side. Dragons are legend incarnate. They are keepers of ancient lore and trusted guides to the mystical ways of the tarot. Now their boundless wisdom comes to you in this stunning Rider-Waite-Smith-based deck. Tarot of Dragons filters classic symbolism through a draconic lens, making your readings sizzle with new energy, featuring Firat Sohan's gorgeous illustrations and a full-color companion book by dragon expert Sean Mackenzie. This deck will ignite your passions, focus your heart and mind, and illuminate your path from chaos to enlightenment. Honestly, I agree with almost all of that, but don't let the idea of the book sway you and make you think that it's something that it's not. Alright, so getting into the deck itself, we have here, I believe this is the Emperor, the artwork for the Emperor card. This is the Two of Wands, obviously. And then this is the High Priestess, of course, with the black pillar, the white pillar, the B and the J, and carved on them, the scroll, the moon, it's all there. This is really a fantastic adaptation of the Rider-Waite-Smith system to dragons, and I really love almost every card. In terms of the book, if you are familiar with the Tarot of Mermaids, then you are familiar with exactly what you're getting here. It's the exact same thing, just dragons. The introduction to the book is wonderful. Let's get to the table of contents here. So the introduction is fantastic. The brief history of tarot is fine. The chapter 2, The Journey Begins, is good for beginners. It's okay. Then we get into the chapters with the card meanings. These leave a lot to be desired. Chapter 5 and Chapter 6, Working with Dragons and Journey Without End, are also wonderful. There are some spreads in the back of the book. It comes with, a lot of basic guidance to, here's one of the spreads, for example, based on the shape of a dragon's tail. there's a lot of guidance to help new tarot readers learn how to read with tarot. The problem is that the meanings in the guidebook are absolute trash. And I don't think I was this mean about it in my original video, but to be honest with you, I'm a little frustrated because of what happened to my original video. Like, I already recorded, edited, and have uploading another video for today. Like, I thought I was going to be able to enjoy the rest of my day, but here we are. And I'm happy to do this to you. Please don't misunderstand. I just, have had other plans today. All right, so this is why I don't like the guidebook. This is why I wouldn't recommend this deck with this book alone for beginning tarot readers. The wall of text here describes the art on the card. Notice there are no keywords. There are no suggestions for how to interpret the energy or meaning of the card in a spread. You just get a wall of text describing the artwork and what is happening. And I mean, we have eyes, we can see the artwork, we can see what is happening. If there's an accessibility issue and you need this text to tell you about the artwork on the cards, that's valid. That is fair. The problem is that if you are, especially a brand new tarot reader, if you don't know what you're doing, if you've never read with a tarot deck before, if you've never read another tarot book, you're not going to get a lot from this. So I will read this for you. And you are welcome to, pause and read it for yourself and all of that. But just listen to what it says or read it for yourself and see what it says. And notice how it really never tells you what the card means. It just gives you an idea about what's going on with the artwork. So, a young dragon stands at the edge of an alpine precipice, savoring the first green blush of spring. It is an invitation no dragon can refuse. Her mottled gold and orange wings unfurl in the sun. A sweet, warm updraft beckons. All is in readiness for her first flight into the unknown. That is beautiful for the fool, She is brilliant and curious, a dreamer eager to begin her draconic journey. The white rose in her teeth holds her innocence, grace, and promise, and the white tiger cub, her youthful courage, vision, and willful spirit. The white tiger cub, yeah, okay, all right. The tiger prances playfully by her heels as if to say, go on, be bold, test the air. A leap and a flap are all it takes to join the distant brace of dragons, winging over mountain, down valley, and across the untamed sky. So for an experienced tarot reader, this does a great job of capturing the fool. If you are a brand new tarot reader, you're probably left a little, dumbfounded. Like, what? What are you trying to say here exactly? What does this card mean? It's telling you a story about the art on the card. It's not really explaining what the card means. Let's continue. There comes a time in every young dragon's life when the impulse, the need to plunge into the unknown, rolls like a clarion song through her soul. The nest has grown small, and the world is so inviting. It is a time for change, for innocence to meet experience. Still standing there on the ledge is not without its share of dread, even for the most recklessly adventurous among us. But there can be no journey without spreading your wings to catch the wind and lift you on your way, without heeding the call to explore the nascent hero within. Attend the tiger's frisky urging, trust your passions, your dreams, and don't look down. That first step is a leap of faith. Take it. So it gets so close to explaining what the card means, but it never fully really gets there. If you are experienced with tarot and taking the context of this, the general idea of this energy, and then putting it into the context of your reading, this is fine. I would never refer to this book. This does not work for me. I am someone who struggles to pick up on implied meanings. I prefer things that are more direct, more straightforward, like keywords, for example, giving you an idea of what the card could mean in various situations. This really gives you one meaning for the card, if you're perceptive enough to pull it out, because it is in there, sort of, taking the leap of faith. It the book, it doesn't even tell, as far as I remember. I mean, I honestly, I've slept since I read all of this. Like I said, it was a couple of weeks ago when I initially filmed this. I don't recall the book telling people to, get the grasp of the energy of the description of the card and then take that energy and make it fit the context of your reading. It doesn't tell you to do that. So if you are brand new, you're probably not going to pick that up. Like, it was a long time before I learned how to do that, because my first tarot deck didn't tell me to do that either. And so I would always go like with a list of keywords or something and be very rigid with my readings. This is just, it's nice if you want a book that's going to tell you a story, but it's not so nice if you're new to tarot and you are trying to learn and you don't know the things to do. This is not going to be a lot of help to you. Also, my ranting about the book is almost done. I apologize. If you've actually sat through this, thank you. The full color illustrations, the full color guidebook is nice. The problem is that, just like with the Tarot of Mermaids, they use that to compensate to have smaller, cheaper cards. So, I mean, you can see all of the art in nice, large resolution here, high definition. I mean, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's full color. When I read tarot, because I'm an experienced reader, I never look at the book. And if I was a new reader, I would not use this book because it would not help me. It would leave me confused. And, I would just be frustrated. So I'm never going to see this unless I intentionally sit down with the intent to look at the art in this book and see the art at a size in which I can make out the details more easily. Now, I have customized this deck already. I hadn't when I recorded my initial version. So these blue and silver edges are not standard. You just get white edges when you buy this new. I did this to match the back of the cards, and I did it with gel pen. That's also why I'm using this blue and silver. I should have used this the first time. I did this with gel pen. If anyone is interested, I can put the details in the description down below. But there's a type of jelly roll gel pen. It's like a metallic shadow. So this is the silver and blue metallic shadow gel pen. And I like that you get both colors that are in the back of the cards. And it also has a sort of antiqued and aged look. So it's really beautiful. At least for me, that's why I used this one. But this is not standard with the deck. The deck does not have any edging at all. Oh, great. And it's also out of order because I've read with it now a few times. So I need to put it back into order. But allow me to continue ranting here for a moment. This cardstock is playing cardstock. It's not very thick. It's not very durable. It's not going to take a lot of abuse. It's extremely glossy, which makes the colors pop. But as you can see, it's hard to see clearly because the light reflects all over it. It is a gorgeous deck. And honestly, the artwork deserved better. And I feel exactly the same way about the Tarot of Mermaids. The cards are too small. The full color guidebook is a waste because I'm never going to look at this unless I intentionally sit down to look at the art in the book. Every time I do a tarot reading with this deck, I will be looking at these cards. I would rather have bigger cards. I mean, to be honest with you, I would prefer a little white book with no cover, just regular paper, not glossy paper, no color, no nothing. Just a little white book with decently sized cards with a little bit thicker cardstock than this, and I would be thrilled because this artwork is so gorgeous. It deserves it. Like I said, I'm not even a fan of dragons, and this deck converted me. This deck made me fall in love with dragons. The art is that gorgeous. The interpretation of the cards is that well done, that it can take someone who's not a fan of dragons and make them love dragons. This book is a waste of ink and paper, to be honest, since the majority of it's not all that useful or helpful. I mean, again, if you want the book to tell you a story, you've got that. It's going to tell you all about the art on the cards. And for a few cards, I might actually sit down and read what the book has to say, because there are a few cards that I want to understand what's going on. But this much of the book right here, this is worthless. You have this little tiny bit at the end and this little tiny bit at the beginning. That is actually useful. So, I mean, it is nice, since the cards are so tiny, to have the book to be able to see the artwork better. But because, as I said, I use the cards every time I sit down to use a reading, I want better cards. The cards are supposed to be the centerpiece of your deck. They're supposed to be the focal point, the draw. This is just, it's a disappointment to me. And it's not a consolation that somehow makes up for the tiny cards with horrible cardstock. Like, I'm glad that I have carpal tunnel, so I can't really riffle shuffle and so on. So these actually might last me, maybe even my whole lifetime, because the way I shuffle tends to be fairly gentle. But this, I mean, if you riffle shuffle, if you're rough with your cards, you're going to be replacing this probably fairly quickly if you use the deck with any regularity. This deck deserved better. The Tarot of Mermaids deserved better. So all of that out of the way, I'm going to put the cards in order, and then I will come back and we will do the flip through of the cards proper. Thank you so much for sitting through all of my ranting about the deck, the book, the box, and the cardstock, and so on. I am very excited to share the art with you because it is just stunning. This deck just deserved better. It did. Tarot of Mermaids, exactly the same way. I feel exactly the same about both because they're both done. They're mirror copies of each other almost. Like, I hated the book with that deck. Yeah, no. Okay. Ranting out of the way. I will return momentarily. Okay. We are back. Thank you for bearing with all of my rambling and sitting here with me. So, we have the Fool, the start of the journey into the major arcana. We already went over this a bit when we talked about the book, but I really do love this. It really captures the energy of the Fool beautifully. I don't fully understand the inclusion of the tiger over the dog, but you know, whatever. I like that you still have the rose here, so you still have some traditional symbolism. It's a really beautiful interpretation or reinterpretation of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith Fool. I absolutely love it. And there it is for you guys up close so that you can see all of the beautiful details. All right, the Magician. This is another absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous card. You've got the sword, the wand, the coin in the background. You've got the cup holding the fire and the magical orb. And you've got the magician himself, or the shaman, as he is called in this deck. Just absolutely gorgeous. Really, just incredible. I'm not a huge fan of terming it the shaman, but you know, that's not really in my control to change it. We also discussed the High Priestess a little bit when we were looking at the book. All of the major traditional symbolism is there. The High Priestess herself is absolutely gorgeous with those extremely detailed antlers or horns. The hair Even the fire in her eyes is just incredible. Just, I love the details there. Gorgeous. All right, the Empress. Just very beautiful, very abundant energy here. Not only do you have rabbits, you've got hedgehog, you've got deer. Just really, really beautiful here. You definitely get a sense of the Empress being a nurturer and protector, since you have a dragon surrounded by all of these herbivores, and they're not afraid of her at all. So you certainly get that sense that she is protective, that she is nurturing and kind and well respected. Like, her position in the community is one that is very highly regarded by all beings in the community. I adore this emperor. Like, this is so perfectly illustrates what the emperor, his energy is. Looking over his kingdom, guiding it, structuring it, protecting it. This is such a perfect interpretation. Like, I don't think I could have designed better for a dragon deck. I just adore it. I'm probably going to be a broken record. I usually am. The Hierophant, the High Priest. We have an absolutely gorgeous Mesoamerican, dragon, similar to the deity Quetzalcoatl. Just really stunning plumage on the dragon. Just incredible. It is so immersive. Like, you really feel you are there outside of this temple with the dragon perched on top. I just adore it. You also have a little bit of a throwback to the Rider-Waite-Smith. The snake here, the snake has been a spiritual symbol for humans for a long time. But the snake here on the tree just kind of feels like a throwback to the Garden of Eden or something. I don't know. But you get that sense of traditions and power structures, or traditional structures, the structure of tradition, and the one who maintains it, who protects it, who keeps it, who teaches it, preserves it. So very fantastic job there. The Lovers, for me, it's not especially remarkable. It is beautiful. That I would not, I just, it's a beautiful version of the Lovers. I don't have much else to say other than that. The Chariot. I believe this was the Golden Emperor here. And then you have a light and a dark dragon. It really is just a dragon version of the traditional tarot chariot. So very well done, nicely adapted. Then you have Strength. You don't have too many humans in the tarot. I like this one, though, that it is a lady knight. I think that's really awesome. The background is gorgeous. What I love about this is that she's thrown down her sword, and she has decided to show strength that is not physical strength. It's not courage. It is compassion. It is love. It is trust. It is vulnerability. Like, it does take strength to make ourselves vulnerable. She had the sword. She could be ready to defend herself. Instead, she's put it down and she's trying to make peace with the dragon. This is just incredible in my book. I really adore it. It perfectly captures the energy of strength. The Hermit, really, there's not too much to say about it. It is the Hermit. He's got his lamp there with what is probably a pearl, but I don't know, it could be a star maybe. He's also got a star, and he's wrapped around, coiled around the mountain here. So you get this sense of isolation and focusing on the self, immersing the self in spiritual work, etc. Mountains have been holy places for an extremely long time also. All right, Fortune's Wheel. This one is absolutely gorgeous. Again, we have the 4 animals associated with creation in some of the Chinese legends. The lion, the phoenix, I believe that is, the quote-unquote unicorn, or the kirin or qilin, and the tortoise. And then you have the dragons here, who are also, if not present, it's been a while since I read the myth, but if not present, around, anyway, around the time of beginning, around the time of creation. So you have the Wheel of Fortune. It's just beautiful. It has 4 very powerful energies, just like the traditional Wheel of Fortune, which has the bull and the eagle or the hawk, the lion, and I think an angel or a woman, I'm not sure. So, I mean, this is just a fantastic reinterpretation of that. Very powerful interpretation of that. Justice. I adore how this version of Justice has the owl and the mouse. Maybe it's a rat, it's awfully large. And they are equally balanced. They are perfectly in balance, like that. And then the sword being under the claws of the dragon. This is just a fantastic representation of justice. You really get the sense of polarities being in balance and justice, fairness. Like, there's no bias in favor of the predator or in favor of the prey here. It's all in balance. It's all just. The Hanged Dragon. Okay. Now that we've got everything back in the frame again, there's really not a lot to say about this one. I like that they changed it to the Hanged Dragon instead of keeping it the Hanged Man. And I also really enjoy the addition of this little leopard or jaguar down here playing with the plumes on the dragon. I think that's really cute. But yeah, it's just your typical Hanged Man. Death, again, nothing particularly amazing or unique about this card. It honestly makes me think of Malevolent from Sleeping Beauty. The dragon, I think that's her name. I don't remember, but I do like, excuse me, I do like how the dog and the skeleton that apparently was a king are sitting up, and even this one over here is sitting up. I think that is interesting, and it shows, similar to the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, that it doesn't matter who you are, human, animal, king, or pauper, death is a great equalizer. It comes for us all. So, very well done. All right, Temperance, just your basic Temperance. It just has absolutely gorgeous dragon with incredible plumage and coloring. It's just breathtaking. It really is. I really love how they did a diversity of dragons instead of just one or maybe 2 types. The Devil. This card, I'm a little on the fence with it. Usually in the Devil, the figure that is chained in such a way that they could free themselves if they wanted to. The Devil is not imprisonment or complete helplessness, usually. Because the Devil deals with control, it certainly could reach that stage where someone is completely helpless, that things are out of their control. But generally, the general vibe of the Devil is that the person who is chained is not held completely against their will. The chains on this are a little intense, but at the same time, there's this odd dichotomy that it looks like this dragon could probably pretty easily break those chains, at least in my opinion. But if you didn't agree with that statement, like if you saw this and thought, oh no, that dragon's way too chained down, that's not really the Devil, I would agree with that too. But for me personally, I do think dragons being huge and powerful as they are, this dragon could probably break free if it wanted to. And maybe that was intentional on the part of the artist and the author of the book who helped design some of the cards. But yeah, I'm a little on the fence about it. I mean, I love it. I think it's beautiful, but it's just a little off in the way that it speaks to me. Another absolutely incredible version of the tower with the dragon coiled around the tower. And the star, also absolutely gorgeous with, I love that bird in the background there. Looks like maybe a spoonbill or something, I'm not sure. But it is really beautiful. The star is one of my favorite cards in the tarot. So. All right, then we have the moon. It's interesting. I think normally you have a wolf and a coyote, or a wolf and a dog, I'm sorry, or a coyote and a dog, something like that. Here, this is obviously a tiger. This could be a house cat, though, or it could be a young tiger. I'm not entirely sure. So, what do you think about this one? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'm on the fence if this is a house cat. It's fairly large compared to the fully grown tiger next to it. So, but either way, you do still have that sort of dichotomy. Even that if that were a young tiger, you would have that dichotomy of, rather than like wild and tame, maybe something more like mature and immature, or naive or something. Then, of course, you have the crab, the two lighthouses forming the gateway, and then the moon itself. It's just really lovely. And the sun, again, just stunning. These little dragons look so happy. They are so adorable. And then Judgment. I don't really like this disembodied dragon head thing here, and this appears on all of the aces as well. I'm not a fan of it. I wish they had given this dragon and the dragon in the aces a full body rather than just head and wings, but it's not terrible. It's not like a complete deal breaker for me. I just don't love it the way I love a lot of the other cards, but I mean, I don't normally love every card in a deck anyway, so. And then the universe, or the world, just an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous interpretation of that card. So I'm going to set these aside because my camera, as the discard pile tends to get taller than the pile that I'm drawing from, it will refocus on the other cards. So we're not trying to see the backs of the cards. So let's, because they are so glossy, they also slide around like they're on ice or something. So, all right, so the Ace of Cups. And this is what I mean about the like disembodied dragon head with wings. Like, it doesn't look bad. It just looks weird to me. The head like that with wings but no body. I would prefer a whole dragon back there. Of course, if there was a body, you wouldn't be able to see as much of the landscape. So I understand what the artist was going for. I'm just not a fan of it, but it's 5 cards in the deck. It's not a deal breaker. So, Two of Cups. So pretty standard and typical Two of Cups. Really beautiful. Love the colors and the detail. Absolutely adore it. We have the 3 of Cups here, and the 3 otters. I don't know if they're stealing the cups or joining the party with the dragons, but it's really cute. The 4 of Cups. I like how you have this youngling here taking one of the cups, or maybe bringing another cup to the elder dragon. Like, hey, you didn't care for the other 3, but try this one. It's really, really well done. The 5 of Cups, again, your typical 5 of Cups. So we certainly get the sense that this dragon is mourning over what was lost rather than, finding contentment with what the dragon still has here in the 2 remaining cups. So your typical 5 of Cups, very well done. 6 of Cups. I love this. I really do love this one. You really get this sense that the elder dragon in the background here is kind of reminiscing or daydreaming and remembering watching these 2 dragons. Or maybe this here is the memory and we are seeing it juxtaposed to the dragon remembering it sitting on the mountain there. Like, it's just beautiful. It's well done. I certainly get this feeling of reminiscing and The usual Six of Cups energies. I also really love the flower bouquets in the cups back there. It's just gorgeous. Okay, the Seven of Cups. So we have a lot of choices here. And I really do love that. There's even treasure there, different kinds of animal energies. And they're all in this dragon's dream, perhaps. So I really love that. The Eight of Cups, this is your pretty typical Eight of Cups. For me, the Eight of Cups generally, this again, it's not a deal breaker. It's just me nitpicking. The Eight of Cups energy is about leaving your affairs in order and then turning away from the old to pursue something new. And the way these cups are laid out, it doesn't feel very orderly. So it's just a tiny nitpick. But it's fine. It works perfectly as an Eight of Cups. And then the Nine of Cups. I love the way this is done with the cave kind of around the dragon. And then you can kind of see the landscape that the dragon is looking upon there. And it's just a fantastic reinterpretation of the Rider-Waite-Smith Nine of Cups. Just adore it. And then the Ten of Cups. Fairly standard, nothing super unique here. It's really adorable and beautiful. I love the colors. The idea to include the aurora was a fantastic choice, for at least, for me personally. I adore that. All right, the Page of Cups here. Fairly standard Page of Cups, nothing too remarkable about it, nothing off about it for me either. Just, it's a successful dragon version of that card. Same with this one, Knight of Cups. It's hard to tell if this dragon is giving the seal a ride, maybe saving it from the polar bear, or if the dragon is carrying the seal off to eat it itself later. So there is that kind of bit of weird energy as we're gazing upon this scene, but I love it. It's beautiful. The Queen of Cups. I love the inclusion of the whale down there. That is just, you have the Queen of the Air here, and then you have the Queen of the Sea down there. It's just very well done. Okay. And then the Sire of Cups. So the Sires I have a bit of a nitpick with. But let me start with the positives. I love that they named it Sire and then actually illustrated that in the artwork. Normally, you don't have the kings with their progeny in the artwork of the cards, but they called this one Sire, which means that this dragon sires other young dragons, and they include the baby dragon, at least one of each, I believe, on every sire, with the sire himself. So the artwork does match the name, and it matches beautifully. It's a beautiful card. My issue is that you have the traditional court cards all the way through until you get to the sire. You've got the page, you've got the knight, and then you've got the queen, and then the sire. I don't know what they're trying to say with this. There are a lot of tarot decks that, for example, one of my favorite decks, the Cosmic Tribe Tarot, the queen is the highest court card in that deck. It goes like prince, princess, knight, and queen. There are no kings. The Cosmic Tribe is a matriarchal tribe, and so are they trying to say the same thing about dragons here? I have asked friends who have friends who are very knowledgeable about dragons and dragon magic and, all of this, and they're not really sure what they're trying to get at with either, because they've never heard of any lore that says that dragons are explicitly matriarchal. It doesn't bother me if they are. I just wish that they would have changed the names on the other court cards to kind of maintain a consistent theme. Because, again, you have the traditional names, page, knight, queen, and then sire. Just out of nowhere, you break the chain on the court cards. I wish they would have found different names to use to keep it thematically consistent. This bothers me just from a consistency standpoint. And because I don't know what it's trying to say about dragons by having a queen and then no king but a sire. Again, it just boggles my mind what their intention was, and it never says in the book. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I did not read every word in this book because reading these walls of text was kind of painful for me, because I strongly dislike books that are done that way. But I did read all of the interim material and, the first part, the last part, and then like the introduction to the minors and the majors and so on. It never mentions why they call these sires in any of that material. So I don't know what they were going for with this. Again, it's beautiful art. I love that the name and the artwork are consistent. I just wish they would have done the other court cards differently, like maybe called the queen the matriarch or something, and then found different names for the knight and page as well, just to keep it consistent with itself. That just kind of breaks the immersion a bit for me because I don't understand what they're trying to communicate with that. And I can make some assumptions about it, but it's never confirmed or denied anywhere in the guidebook either. So, and if you decide to use the Jelly Roll gel pens to edge your deck the way that I did, just know that there's something different about this cardstock from the Tarot of Mermaids. I did the Tarot of Mermaids with an aqua colored Jelly Roll gel pen that was metallic, and the metallic coloring stayed on there fine. With the Tarot of Dragons, it rubs off. Like, I've done several decks with gel pens, and with the exception of one other deck, it's been fine. With this one, the metallic is coming off. It could be the type of pen that I use. Maybe if I had just used metallic silver instead, but I actually like that this looks kind of antiqued and that more of the blue shows through rather than just a solid silver. So it doesn't bother me. And this washes off very easily. I have a feeling that it's eventually going to stop rubbing off, and then it's just going to reach a point where that's just how it is. So I'm just kind of waiting for the deck to get to its final evolution, as it were. All right, so the Ace of Wands. Again, very similar to the Ace of Cups, nothing particularly unique. The weird bodiless dragon head with wings. Okay. The Two of Wands. This card is so stunning and gorgeous. Like, I can see why they chose to use it for the cover art on the box. It is amazing. And then the Three of Wands. Again, I really adore this one. The imagery on this card confuses me a little bit. It feels like the dragon is probably protecting the kingdom, and like, I don't know, usually the Three of Wands is about taking steps to achieve your goals. So I don't know, is the dragon's goal defending the kingdom, or like, it's kind of unclear, but it's a beautiful card and it does work. It's just a little ambiguous, I guess. All right, the Four of Wands. Again, this is an incredible version of the Four of Wands. As I said, I didn't read the whole book about all of the minors and so on, or all of the majors, but it feels like the dragons have these wands that are giving them power, but then the power reaches a point where they come into disagreement over the wands and how to use them in the Five of Wands. And then you have, in the Six of Wands, one dragon who has gained distinction above the others. I love how he's holding that little knight there. And so they've calmed down. They're listening to this dragon as the voice of reason, I suppose. I adore the art on this card. It seems like the dragons with the wands have turned against each other. The wands are kind of corrupting the dragons. The art on this card is so visceral. You have this mother dragon defending her younglings, her babies, from unknown attackers, but, you know, obviously probably from the clan of the red dragons. I don't know what they call it, but this artwork is so visceral and so perfectly captures what the Seven of Wands tries to communicate. I adore this. I genuinely adore this. For this one, Eight of Wands, it's really not that revolutionary as far as Eight of Wands card artwork goes. It's usually one of the cards that decks try the least with, and this one is no exception. It's hard to tell if, you know, the Eight of Wands is usually about directing action towards a purpose. It's hard to tell if this dragon is dropping these wands down or if other dragons are attacking it from below with the wands. So where is the action being directed exactly? Towards the sky or towards the earth? Like, is this dragon being attacked? Because if so, then we have a sort of 7 or 9 of wands energy here in the 8 of wands. So it's just a little bit odd, a little ambiguous like some of the other cards, but not awful. It gets the job done. The 9 of wands, you know, again, serviceable. We have this dragon who's clearly beat up. You can see the fraying on the wings there, how they're all tattered and everything. You can see that there's a little bit of blood and scratches and scarring between the scales and so on. It's very beautiful, very well done. Lastly, we have the 10 of Wands. This card here looks like maybe the dragon from the 6 of Wands, the 7 of Wands, the 9 of Wands, I don't know. One of the dragons has gathered up all of the wands and is going to take them away and dispose of them because they are corrupting the other dragons. And here we have the other two. It's hard to tell if they are discontent with this decision, but not feeling strong enough to attack the dragon with the 10 wands, or if they are supporting this dragon. But I love how the art kind of tells a story. And again, I haven't read the book, so I don't know if my interpretation of the story is consistent with the booklet. But that is the story that the cards told me through the feelings the imagery evokes. So it's very well done. Okay, then we have the Page of Wands. So again, nothing revolutionary. We have the little salamander that I think is present on the page, usually, traditionally. So that's really cool. Then we have the Knight of Wands. And again, the lizard, I think that is usually on the Knight of Wands cards. The Queen of Wands. I think she normally has a cat, and she has her cat there with her, and that is so gorgeous. I adore that. And then the Sire of Wands. So back to the ambiguous. Don't know exactly what the sire means, but he's got his traditional token symbol there and his baby, which I think is really sweet. So, and I just love the way his horns are done there. Like, it's really beautiful. And the frills. Okay. The Ace of Swords. Not much to say about this one. The Two of Swords. I love how the dragon is kind of hiding its own face behind its wings. That is very well done. It adds a sort of unique flavor to the Two of Swords, since usually the figure is blindfolded, and we don't know if she's blindfolded herself. This dragon is covering its own eyes, and so you get a sort of unique feeling from this one compared to the usual. All right, the Three of Swords. I'm going to say I love this artwork, but I don't think it works for the Three of Swords. And I did a little thread on this and another Three of Swords card that I got in the Forhoxa Tarot recently. The Forhoxa Tarot's Three of Swords is amazing. It's probably the best Three of Swords I have ever seen. This Three of Swords doesn't work for me because this looks triumphant. It looks successful. This dragon looks like a winner. And so you don't really get the sense of heartbreak that is normally associated with the Three of Swords. You get a sense of victory and triumph. Now, if we imagine ourselves as the victim of this scene, then perhaps, yes, I could see this as being a heartbreaking scene. But there's nothing in the card itself to really suggest that. And so this artwork just doesn't really fit the energy of the Three of Swords for me. Unless I specifically think like, oh, how sad, another dragon was killed and that's awful, poor dragon. Four of Swords, your typical Four of Swords. It works. The Five of Swords. I love this one. Because the swords represent mental processes, I love how this dragon has unarmed the knight at least twice, because he's also got a shield here. And then the dragon himself is holding two swords. It's kind of hard to see the sword on the right side, but it is there. And it's just, I really enjoy this artwork. I think it works for the Five of Swords. It maybe doesn't perfectly convey the energy of Five of Swords, but I like it a lot regardless. The Six of Swords. This one is incredible and does an amazing job of conveying everything the Six of Swords has to say. No complaints here. Very satisfied. This one is absolutely adorable. The Seven of Swords. We have a baby dragon trying to steal a bone from a mature dragon. So that is just so darn cute. I love it. And see, this perfectly embodies the sort of mischievousness linked to this card. So I really do love it. And the Eight of Swords. Now this one is gorgeous. This one is another major success for me from this deck. So it looks like this dragon has been, since swords represent thought processes and mental energy and so on, it looks like this dragon has been so caught up in its own thoughts and feelings that it hasn't been able to move for so long that flower vines have grown up around it and tied it up. And this dragon looks like it could easily free itself. Like the swords are not keeping it trapped. The vines don't look strong enough to prevent it from moving. It's the dragon's own indecision that is holding it here. And I absolutely love that because it so perfectly conveys the energy of the Eight of Swords. The Nine of Swords, again, another absolute success. It really does a great job of showing the anxiety this poor little dragon is feeling. And then the Ten of Swords. This card is another very evocative card. So this makes me wonder if the dragon from the Three of Swords is this one here under the 10 swords. And if this here is not the baby dragon from the Six of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Swords. Like, this card breaks my heart because I almost feel like this dragon is grieving and angry because it has discovered the fate of its parent here, or its caretaker, its relative, whatever the relation is. And this dragon is heartbroken and vengeful. Which maybe doesn't really convey the proper energy of the Ten of Swords, but I still love the art and the energy that it evokes. It's very unique, and you still get the traditional artwork and meaning and energy of the Ten of Swords in it as well. So it doesn't completely change it like the Three of Swords does. It just sort of adds to it or augments it with new imagery. Okay, the Page of Swords. The butterflies in these court cards are so beautiful. I really love this one. It's just, this little dragon here is just sitting for his picture. And he looks so proud, and he really does embody the energy of the Page of Swords quite nicely. Okay, the Knight of Swords. I feel like, again, this one beautifully captures the energy of the Knight of Swords. It's chaotic. It looks perhaps a bit hasty, or we see the dragon could make a hasty decision that could lead it into some trouble. It's a very interesting card, very evocative art. I think it does a good job of capturing the energy of the Knight of Swords in a unique way. Okay. The Queen of Swords. I adore this card. I adore the butterflies all around her, the white flowers, just everything about it. Just absolutely. The way the egg is cracked, it's almost like, and the way the butterflies are flying around, it's almost like she released the butterflies from the egg. And it kind of symbolizes that her thoughts flow freely, that she is in control of them, that they are not chained by anxiety or fear or, any of the other things. She's very, very, very well conveys the Queen of Swords energy. And I adore this card. And the Sire of Swords. He too is a gorgeous card. I love his coloration, his scales and everything. And it works. It's not particularly remarkable, but it works. And I love the way the little dragon there has his tail kind of wrapped around his sire's neck and so on. It's just adorable. Okay, the Ace of Coins. We are getting there, everyone. Sorry that this video is taking so long. Standard Ace of Coins. I really like this one. This one, the imagery in this is very evocative. Again, it's when I see this card, my mind plays out this scene of like these two young dragons fighting over these coins and tearing up the snakes or whatever that is holding them together. And so you have that sense of imbalance along with the choppy waters on the sea back there. Imbalance that is coming, though it is not quite here yet. It is imminent. And the need to maintain that balance that is being, attacked basically by these two young dragons. I really, really love that. I think it's very well done. This one also does a fantastic job of conveying the Three of Coins artwork, and it sort of does have a teamwork feel to it for those who read and understand the Three of Coins as a teamwork card. There's a lot of meanings for this card, and that is just one of many. Okay. The Four of Pentacles. Just your standard Four of Pentacles. I wish the dragon were holding the coins more rather than just sitting with them like that. But it works. It's not a deal breaker, but it's also not my favorite presentation for that card ever. So it is what it is. All right, the Five of Coins. I really love the art on this work. I love the addition of the other animals and the sort of, burned out forest, or the forest that has been lost to disease, decay, drought. I don't know. But this artwork is just really, really good. Like, this speaks to me, and it tells me what the Five of Coins has to say. The Six of Coins. I adore this one. It looks like this dragon here caught all of these fish. Is it salmon or trout that bears usually catch? I think it's salmon. The dragon caught all of the salmon for this mother bear and her two cubs, and I think that is just so sweet, and just it does a great job of capturing the energy of the Six of Coins. The Seven of Coins. It's not really remarkable to me. It's serviceable. It does the job. It gets it done. Eight of Coins, again, not super remarkable or unique. It does the job and it gets it done. The Nine of Coins. I love the addition of the peacock in this card. And this dragon is so gorgeous. Just so beautiful. Like, again, I am not a dragon fan. Like, I don't go goo-goo for dragons, but this dragon fills me with awe and wonder. She takes my breath away. She's just gorgeous. And I guess it doesn't have to be a she, but usually it is a feminine figure in the Nine of Coins, and so that's how I'm reading it. But if you read it differently, that is valid. And with dragons especially, like, it could be anything. We don't really know. The Ten of Coins. So this one is a lot like the Ten of Cups. It's really not remarkable. It doesn't do anything revolutionary in terms of capturing the imagery or the energy of the card. I adore this Page of Pentacles. I think this deck, were it not for the naming of the sires, would have consistently my favorite majors of any tarot deck. I really adore the inclusion of the bat here in the cave with the baby dragon, because you have the sense a new day is dawning. The bat is an animal that is attributed with rebirth. You know, with the dragon and the coin in the cave, you have a sense that seeds were planted and they're about to sprout and grow, and they have room and potential to grow. So it does a really fantastic job of conveying everything about the Page of Coins for me. And again, I adore this Knight of Coins. I love this triumphant, celebratory energy here with the two, the stag and the deer. It's just gorgeous. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. Again, this one just so fantastically captures the energy of the Queen of Pentacles. She's got her eggs there, and you can even see the baby dragons. She is nurturing them. She's protecting them. She's making sure the eggs, the embryos, are growing strong and healthy. And you've got the rabbits there speaking to her fecundity. And look at those horns. Are they not just absolutely gorgeous? And the coloration, this card just takes my breath away. I love it. I really do. And then the Sire of Pentacles. So I love how he has the moss kind of growing on him as well as the tree. So you certainly get this sense of someone who is verdant and maybe abundant. I don't know. I'm not sure if it quite captures the abundant energy, but I do like this artwork nonetheless, even if it doesn't really convey as well the traditional energy of the King of Coins, at least not for me. I think it's beautiful and well done. So with all of that said, thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on the deck down below. Did this video convince you to get the deck? How do you feel about the book? For that matter, if you have the Tarot of Mermaids, let me know what you think about that deck too. I would love to have a discussion on this. I don't claim to know everything or be infallible in my opinion or interpretation. I would enjoy discussion. So if anyone wants to share their thoughts down below. But did this deck convert you the way it converted me? Because I love dragons, and I love them because of this deck. The artwork is amazing. Firat Sohan did an incredible job. I could not be more happy with the artwork. I just wish the presentation of the deck itself were better than it currently is. So anyway, leave me a comment down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing so that I can see you in a future video. I have new tarot deck reviews every Tuesday, oracle deck reviews every Friday, and then tarot readings Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. So if any of that interests you for more, again, please do subscribe, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for joining me, and take care.